have ever occurred to you that a security breach can compromise everything that you're doing?
Yeah, definitely. And when I first started using, ChatGPT and then eventually all the other tools that I use, I make sure that I have the privacy settings turned on so that it's like if I do upload a contract, it has sensitive information in there, names, numbers, emails, specific information about the house. I mean, in general, a lot of that stuff is not that hard to find if you really wanted to find it, but I don't want that added to the training data. Names, numbers, emails, should be a little more private. So I do make sure that all the LLMs I use don't have that privacy setting on.
Thank you guys for joining Eagle Tech Talks. And now we have Nathan DeNoyer's here as our guest, and we're so excited because he's not only a real estate entrepreneur, but he's also the president of the Rotary Club on Fairfax, which I am also a member. And we're excited to have you, Nathan. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Just starting off, can you just tell us a little bit about your background? I mean, who you are, your journey here in Virginia, how did you became a real estate professional, and also later on you became actually in the Rotary Club, and now you're the president. So how that came to be?
Yeah, thanks for having me here again. My name is Nathan DeNoyer. I'm a realtor with EXP, licensed in Virginia. I help people move from the life they have to the life they dream about through real estate. I didn't start my career in real estate. I came out of college with a degree in mechanical engineering, and I did a lot of internships during college and found a lot of things that I never wanted to do again, like manufacturing, design, data analysis. And I found myself in a sales engineer role, and I really liked sales. I liked providing solutions to people. I liked the travel. I liked the people, but I didn't like the product. And I was also, getting into investing as well, and discovered real estate investing and became obsessed. So once I set a goal to buy my first house and rent out the rooms, it's called a house hack. So I did that in Centerville back in 2020. And when I met my realtor through some investing referrals, I wanted to just be like him. He was in real estate all day, every day, sold a lot of houses, made a lot of money, was traveling, living a good life. I just wanted to do that. And so I got my license and was dual career for a little bit, and then went full-time into real estate in June 2022.
Well, that's not very common. I mean, I don't hear mechanical engineers just going to real estate. That's that's not something that happen every day. But I imagine that with that training also help you to structure better your business. And I guess you like people, because that's something that some engineers, since Eagle Tech have a lot of engineers, and we know the struggle engineers that sometimes are not very social. But in your case, you love people. You love helping people to actually get their dream house, and this is one of the biggest investment that most family have. So it's a big responsibility, and we probably will dig into the real estate thing later on. But for now, how you found the Rotary Club, and then you joined Fairfax, and then how you became the president? How's that actually worked?
Yeah, that's it was a fun journey. So when I got started in real estate sales, it's funny that you say you haven't heard of mechanical engineering and people going into real estate, because one of my best friends is out in Colorado, and he was either mechanical or engineering management. I can't remember. He ended up dropping out of school and moving out to Colorado with his girlfriend, and they're married now. And he got into real estate a little bit before me, and so we're both realtors. We both do a lot of the same things, and so it's good to have that in common. He told me there was a book I needed to read called Ninja Selling, and it's a sales system based around building relationships, providing a lot of value to those relationships, and building a repeat and referral-based business. And I remember when I read it, it was like, I reread it all the time. I'm re-listening to it right now. I probably listen to some part of that book or reread some part of that book a couple times a month. and it just felt like everything clicked. Like I'd read a few books before that. I'd listened to some videos of people on how to build a realtor business, and it was kind of like, oh, do a lot of cold calls, door knocking, and things like that. And I did some of that, and it just didn't jive with me. But it just seemed like was the best way to build my business. And so I read the book, got into coaching, went to one of their in-person trainings out in Fort Collins, Colorado, where it was their headquarters. And when I came out of that and went full time, I was like, okay, now that I have all this time during my day to do networking, I'm just going to do exactly what they ascribe in the book. And the author of the book talked about when he first came to Fort Collins, he joined Rotary, he joined Chamber of Commerce and a few other things. And so I was like, well, I'll start there. So I joined Central Fairfax Chamber of Commerce, which led me to Rotary. And there were a lot of crossover members, people that were in both organizations, Jennifer Rose, Doug Church, Bob Green. And I just stuck around, and eventually, they just started to ask me to do things, I mean, like when you show up and there's things that need to be done, you may be called upon to do certain things. And we try to pair people with what they like to do and what they're good at with things that need to be done for the club. And right away they asked me to do public image because they saw a young person and they thought, oh, he can use a cell phone and knows how to post on Instagram. And I am just now getting okay at that. At the time, the thought was, well, I'll get good at doing it for Rotary and my business. I ended up doing a rather poor job at both, in my opinion. So luckily, I know I continued to stick around, and they pegged me for leadership early on, and I was definitely nervous about it. And, I felt like I had big shoes to fill, but I viewed it as, well, it's not something new for me. I'm an Eagle Scout, so I grew up doing Boy Scouts. I grew up doing church service, volunteer work. So, giving back to the community has been a part of my life for a while, and I knew that I wanted to get back into that. So I figured, well, taking a leadership role in it would probably be a good way to help them and also develop my leadership skills.
Well, one of the things that we noticed is a myth that, and I don't know how much of a myth that is, but that Rotary Club have, old people joining, because to give back to the community, you need to have certain commitment and time to do it. So I think at least in the East Coast, you might be one of the youngest presidents on the club. And I think that's probably a good thing, because it's going to probably attract the younger generation, and show them that, we can actually devote time to help our community, to build relationship, and I think that's a great thing. But if we come in with the Rotary Club, you have a lot of experience, and you said, we probably use more technology than the average Rotarian. Because you just started the presidency probably 3-4 weeks ago?
Yeah, about a month ago. Yeah.
About a month ago. So what are your initiatives for Fairfax coming this year? What the Rotary Club is going to be doing? How we get people interested in the Rotary Club in Fairfax?
Definitely, yeah. Well, this is part of it, is upping our public image game. We have a great public image chair, Rachel McQuillan, and we have a public image intern. So just trying to crank out more content and get people more aware is part of that plan. So that's kind of something that's immediate. I put out a strategic action plan. I can touch on a few of those points. Really, at its core, Rotary is a membership organization that does service. Some people get a little backwards. They say we're a service organization. We are, by definition, a membership organization. And the more hands you have on deck, the more people you have on the bus, the more work that you can do. So we have I'm taking a multi-pronged approach to increase membership and also increase retention, kind of plug some leaks in the boat. And some of that is revitalizing our orientation program and doing a red badge program, so people get ramped up to membership. And also, once they're there, they need a job to do. So part of that will be revitalizing the committee structure and creating more accountability. Coming in, I'm still learning new things about the club as president, which I hope in the future for presidents, they learn all that before they come in. And so I'm trying to write, like manuals, guidebooks for each committee position, instill a continuity process so that, install a continuity process so that those committees have vice chairs, get an idea of how frequently they're meeting. and create, accountability KPIs to hit. It's like, hey, what does success look like in this committee? And that will set us up for success in the future. I've heard a lot of about older members that are no longer with us that were, pillars of the community, pillars of the Rotary Club. They did this, they did that. They made the club so amazing. And then they passed and they stopped. They weren't able to successfully pass along the torch. So I'm always grateful for those people, but unfortunately we don't have exactly how they did it written down. So I want to create, like the Fairfax Rotary Bible for future generations.
Well, that actually leads us to what do you think we should be doing, or the Rotary Club should be doing to recruit, younger people, new recruits, and how to capture their attention to the club?
Yeah, that's a great question. I saw the big picture of Rotary early on. Like I said, I went because, the people that I admired and look up to were active in Chamber, active in Rotary from that book, that were successful in business. And I started going to it, and, just wasn't at its beginning, Rotary is good people doing good things. But at its beginning, it was influential businessmen in the community doing good things for the community. And I mean, as an entrepreneur, business owner, that you have a little more sway in how things are done when you operate a profitable business, right? So
yeah,
I think there is so much opportunity for professional leadership development for younger solopreneurs, small business owners to come in and get connected through the network, do business with other Rotarians. There's some pushback here and there. I hear from Rotarians who are like, oh, it's not about business. It's not about, it should be about service. And I don't disagree. But the fact is that like the more successful businesses, local businesses that you have, the more community thrives. And so I think it's all intertwined.
Is the club going to start also ramping more or getting more sponsors, like businesses, local businesses?
Yeah, so we're launching a corporate sponsorship program. Barry Gordon's been a huge part of that. We have 2 right now that are signed on, Apple Federal Credit Union and Brightview Northfax. Brightview is a senior living facility. They're building a new facility in Fairfax, and we're still fleshing out all the details of that. But I view that as those collaborations as a way to twofold. One, it's great. For them, it's paid advertising basically. And we get a little more financially secure so that we're not reliant on certain fundraisers to fund the things that we do. And it'll just be a collaborative effort. And I think through that, we'll open up new doors and possibilities for the club and for businesses in the community.
In that regard, and shifting a little bit about everything that's happening in the Washington, D.C. area, especially in Northern Virginia, and I'm shifting from the Rotary Club to the real estate arena. What are the major changes, and what do you see in the near future in terms of real estate in the Northern Virginia area, noting that this is a very ever-changing area that never stays still? I mean, every 4 years we get people moving in because of government changes. We have a lot of military bases around, so it is very ever-changing market. So how do you approach that?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question to ponder. And I think that you're right. Every 4 years, things shift a lot. So there is a chance that in 3.5 years, if we switch to back to a party that reinstills a lot of the federal programs and federal consulting makes a big swing back, then we could just go back to having that be a big thing. But we have a lot of economic factors that keep us afloat. We have great healthcare. We have great technology. I mean, we have so much technology in the Dulles corridor that I see that as, in my opinion, is the future. Of course, things will continue to get more dispersed with remote work as far as that goes. But there's still like a big economic incentive to come to Northern Virginia for technology. As far as real estate goes, it's the number one word that I hear other realtors say about the market right now is weird. There are pockets that are moving really fast. There are pockets that are sitting. It's really neighborhood dependent. So things have become very hyper local. There's just a lot of uncertainty right now. A lot of uncertainty with interest rates. A lot of uncertainty with the overall economy. So it's tough to say. But I mean, at the end of the day, we have a strong concentration of talent. I think that talent has an incentive to stay here long term. And I think that we have the infrastructure to maintain a strong economy.
So I want to throw up a question that you may or may not have the answer, but I know for a fact that the real estate and Loudoun County and Fairfax County are fighting for data centers because data centers pay very high taxes and is better in terms of revenue because they don't have to do schools around it. They don't have to do all that other stuff that are required for construction companies to do. Is that driving the amount of houses available because all these data centers, especially Loudoun has a lot of them. As you mentioned, the Dallas area is full of data centers. Microsoft and Amazon and Google are building, but then Fairfax has started doing the same thing. Do you think that all these data centers are taking away probably neighborhoods that could actually bring more houses, or do you think that is not relevant?
I think that it's a factor. And again, this is going more into commercial where I have more of just an outsider looking in view on it. I mean, they can pay so much more because the revenue on having a data center is huge. I mean, like a company and a country's wealth and power in the future is, I mean, even right now, a lot of it depends on their ability to compute, right?
Yeah.
The amount of GPUs that they have, their ability to store information. So I think the U.S. as a country has an incentive to lean into that. And so looking specifically at Northern Virginia, just in general rule of thumb, it's like as you radiate out of DC, the price goes down per square foot, per acre, all that stuff. I know there's a big push for building further out in Prince William, Stafford. I think that would make more sense. We do have a general kind of weird missing segment of the market where specifically in residential, where there's been a lot of development recently in building condos and building multifamily apartments. But when you are, a young family with 2 to 3 kids and you want to come out of your condo or come out of your apartment, you want to afford a single family house that has space for you, there's kind of a big gap, or even like a nice sized townhome. So it is pushing people further out, and it's just kind of, it's becoming tough. The affordability is becoming a bigger and bigger issue.
No, I know. I mean, houses close to DC and close to Fairfax is becoming unrealistic for regular families. And shifting to your business model and the Rotarians as well, but both use or could be potential use of AI tools. AI is the hottest thing right now. Everybody is playing around with AI. In your line of business, real estate, we had in the past with the cloud adoption and the apps and stuff, we have Zillow, we have Moboto, we have all these apps that people are relying on that in some real estate agents at one point or another got afraid. You guys are going to be replaced by these apps. You're not going to need realtors. And that didn't happen. Now with AI, how do you see AI playing a role in your profession? And do you see this ever going into a bad direction about replacing people or just enhancing people? What was your take on that?
My take is that it will only enhance and it will only further separate the wheat from the chaff. Cream will rise to the top, whatever saying you want to use. If you look historically, anytime a new technology comes on, like for example, like ATMs, they thought it was going to replace bank tellers. But what it did is reduce the cost of banks so much that the amount of branches exploded. The cotton gin, trains, automobiles, everything. Like there were these people that were naysayers that were scared of this technology that ended up providing so much more value and elevated everyone's position in life. So specifically with real estate, as we move towards automating more and more lines of work, I'm a firm believer that relationships will become our most important asset. And that you'll never be able to outmarket or out automate a relationship. But if I'm competing with somebody directly and I'm able to work twice as fast as them or 3 times as fast as them because of the tools I use, then I'll just be able to outperform them.
Well, that's it. Have you played around yourself with these tools? Are you using some of them?
I use it every day, and every day I'm finding new ways. I'm canceling subscriptions, getting new ones. It's just evolving so fast, where it's exhilarating and it's really exciting time to live in. I feel like a kid again. I used to always dream these big dreams of the future of the world with energy and having a Jarvis and whatnot, and it's all coming true, to be honest.
It is coming true, yeah. And in that regard, what do you say to real estate professionals that are kind of afraid of that technology? Do you think that if they don't embrace it, they might be left behind in the future?
Potentially. I think that first of all, I understand it can be scary to change, right? You're so used to a certain system, but if you accept the fact that it's so much easier and it's not that complicated to get up and running with it, it's like, especially with the proliferation of these, of the chat interface, that's why ChatGPT took off, because it's a conversation. And there are so many tools for dictation now where you can, and where it creates, you just click that little wavy button and you can have a conversation with it where it's literally feels like you're talking to a person. And it is so easy. And so if you have a question about how to use an AI tool, just ask the AI tool and it will tell you how to do it.
It is like having the best friend that knows everything.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, there are a lot of, I think there are concerns with, well, this is a separate question, like with people over relying on AI agents for relationships and teenage things, but that's a topic for another day.
Probably another podcast. I mean, in terms of the questions that I have, is the way that you promote properties or get clients, and I know that in real estate, you got to be very personal. Have the technology make you closer to the people that you want to get to, or is distance you from them because you're using too much technology?
Definitely closer.
Okay.
So there are some key habits that come out of ninja selling on things you should do every single day and on a weekly basis. And all the tools I use just make all of that easier. I recently switched CRMs, which has been a night and day difference. A lot of that is for reaching people that I'm not already in flow with, that I don't know, but from like an advertising standpoint, from like a marketing standpoint of paid ads, postcards, automatic emails, like all those, it's just a couple clicks of a button and it gets sent out, and I can have I can bulk send messages on email, iMessage, where in the past it was just a lot harder to bulk send on iMessage. So it's just getting easier and easier every day.
Getting easier, and that in Eagle Tech we help businesses with AI solutions. Also, we use management, but one of our biggest focus is security, cybersecurity. Have you ever considered, or is something in your mind, the risk of these tools to be breached and actually put you or your clients in jeopardy because of lack of security, or how these tools access all your information? Because in order for you to have more automation and to get more efficient, you have to let the AI see your emails. You have to let the AI see some of the stuff that make you a great agent. Have ever occurred to you that a security breach can compromise everything that you're doing?
Yeah, definitely. And when I first started using, ChatGPT, and then eventually all the other tools that I use, I make sure that I have the privacy settings turned on, so that it's like if I do upload a contract, it has sensitive information in there, names, numbers, emails, specific information about the house. I mean, in general, a lot of that stuff is not that hard to find if you really wanted to find it, but I don't want that added to the training data. Names, numbers, emails, should be a little more private. So I do make sure that all the LLMs I use don't have that privacy setting on.
All right, and just closing the podcast. What do you see, or where do you see the Rotary Club in 5 years?
In 5 years, I can see.
And I'm talking about Fairfax, obviously,
Yeah, no, of course.
not the whole thing.
I mean, so I guess I'll touch personally on. I don't know exactly what I'll be doing. The things that I've enjoyed so far about presidency have been leaning into public image and leading into automating some secretarial roles. And I have enjoyed helping Barry with the corporate sponsorships. So I think that'll be my path. And we have some great leadership coming behind me. Ann Byerly is our president-elect. She's a fantastic woman. And behind her is Dr. Unati Jain, also just great, powerful women leaders. So I definitely a big goal of mine is to keep that continuity going. And I think in 5 years, if we succeed with the strategies that I have for this year, and we create that continuity and keep progressing that plan, we'll have another 20 or 30 members, and I think we could successfully get a bigger turnout at lunch meetings, a bigger turnout at volunteer events. I think one issue that we've had has been that people talk about has been involvement and attendance. It's a lot of the same people doing the same thing, and I think a lot of that falls down to alignment and awareness. People aren't aware of all the things that the Rotary Club does, even if they're in the club, and there also may be a misalignment on the actual things that we're doing. So I think by getting corporate sponsorships in and having representatives from those companies coming to us and being involved in the club will be a good two-way street to get more involvement from them. And also getting our sponsorships, the charities and nonprofits and whatnot that we give money to, getting them involved. And if there's no reciprocation, then finding other paths for that money to flow will just further grow the club. So yeah, I'd love to see a big boost in membership and just more involvement.
So Nathan, how can people get in touch with you if they want to join the Rotary Club or they want to find their next dream house?
Yeah, you can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Nathan DeNoyer, or you can go to fairfaxrotary.com if you want to know more about the Rotary Club, or Fairfax Rotary on Instagram and Facebook.
I mean, we're really thankful for your time and for sharing all that stuff. I hope that people that is watching the podcast or hearing the podcast get more interested in the Rotary Club, especially in the one that we are members of in Fairfax. But if you are listening and you're not in the area, try to look for a Rotary Club, because I think this is an international club. Not every city, but I think most major cities probably will have one club. So thank you very much for those that are watching us, since we are doing this podcast and it's fairly new. Subscribing, liking, and sharing is greatly appreciated. And until the next time, thank you.